There are moments in football when someone speaks and the entire sport stops breathing for a second. Not because it's a coach dropping tactics or a journalist exposing a scandal, but because a player who built his entire legacy on truth, ego, and pure chaos decides to open his mouth. And when that player is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, you already know the football world is about to explode. This time, he didn't throw a kick, he didn't pull a stunt, he didn't launch a new self-mythology. He did something far more lethal. He aimed a sentence directly at Cristiano Ronaldo, detonated it with perfect calmness, and walked away like nothing happened. And the funniest part, the entire thing revolves around Messi, as always, because every football debate in this universe seems to orbit around him like gravity. So what happened? Zlatan, in the most relaxed tone you can imagine, dropped a line that sliced through 15 years of GOAT debates. Not arguments about goals, not Champions League numbers, not Ballon d'Or counts, but something deeper, something that actually shapes how fans think, how media behaves, and how legends are built. He said the difference between Messi and Ronaldo is that interviewers tell Messi he's the GOAT, while Ronaldo tells interviewers that he's the GOAT. And that line didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a diagnosis, like Zlatan had just taken the entire mythology around both players and summarized it in one surgical strike. Because let's be honest, Messi never built his legend with interviews, poses, or speeches. He didn't write his myth, the world wrote it for him. Ronaldo, on the other hand, is a machine built on self-marketing, discipline, and pure ambition. Nothing wrong with that, the guy is a beast. But Zlatan basically said what so many people think and never dare to say out loud. Messi gets crowned, Ronaldo self-crowns. And coming from someone like Ibrahimovic, who knows ego better than maybe anyone else in football history, that hits differently. Zlatan praising humility is like fire complimenting water for staying calm. It shocks you, and that's why the line went viral. But Zlatan wasn't done, because the man can't just drop one bomb. No, he had to add fuel to the fire by mocking Ronaldo's claim that goals in the Saudi League should count for the Golden Boot. And honestly, he's not wrong. Everyone knows the Saudi League is growing, yes, but it's nowhere near the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, or even the Bundesliga. Watching Ronaldo score 5 goals against teams that would struggle in the Spanish second division doesn't carry the same weight as scoring a brace against Atletico Madrid. Zlatan basically said what analysts whisper behind the scenes. You can score 50 goals in Saudi, but football knows context. It always has. And this comes from Zlatan, a man who played all over the world, who understands the levels, the pressure, the culture. He isn't defending Messi blindly. In fact, he's roasted Messi before, saying Inter Miami teammates play like statues. Brutal, yes, but also accurate. Even then, he separated Messi's personal greatness from the team around him. That alone tells you Ibrahimovic isn't riding the Messi fanboy train. He's simply recognizing what's real. Messi's talent has never needed an explanation, while Ronaldo's has always needed a narrative. That's what makes this whole situation fascinating. Zlatan isn't talking from the sidelines like a random commentator. He spent decades alongside the best. He shared locker rooms with players who shaped eras. When he speaks on ego, on legacy, on status, he's speaking from a place of experience. And when he decides to poke Ronaldo's myth, he does it with precision, not out of hate, but out of honesty. The world always reacts because Zlatan doesn't tell partial truths. He tells the truth the way a lion growls, loud, unapologetic, and impossible to ignore. And the thing that makes this hit even harder is how perfectly it matches what we've seen for years. Messi has always been the quiet genius, the reluctant superstar, the guy who transforms games without saying a word. Ronaldo has always been the gladiator, the showman, the warrior who screams into the void and demands recognition. Messi's greatness feels natural, instinctive, inherited from some football dimension mere mortals can't access. Ronaldo's greatness feels manufactured, trained, earned through commitment and obsession. Both are legends, no one questions that, but their paths couldn't be more different. That's exactly why Zlatan's comment feels like the ultimate filter. It separates their football essence in one line. And here's where the debate gets even more dramatic. Messi doesn't need validation. He doesn't chase cameras. He doesn't remind people he's the best. He goes to the pitch, touches the ball, and the entire sport bows without him asking. Ronaldo, for all his brilliance, for all his records, constantly feels like he's proving something. It's like he can't breathe unless the world acknowledges him. That's the irony. Messi became the GOAT because football said so. Ronaldo became Ronaldo because he said so. I'm not saying Zlatan is completely right or wrong. I'm saying he unlocked a perspective the world didn't know it needed. He didn't compare numbers, he compared energy, he compared aura, he compared how each legend carries his crown. And he highlighted the one thing that can't be argued. Messi's legend grew organically, while Ronaldo's was built brick by brick. Think about it. Messi at 17 was already shocking the world with impossible dribbles. Coaches called him a genius before he even understood what fame was. Players twice his age couldn't keep up with his vision. Ronaldo at 17 had potential, but he had to sculpt it into something extraordinary. Messi was Mozart, Ronaldo was Beethoven. One born with the melody, the other carving the symphony into existence. And as the years passed, their identities became clearer. Messi didn't need to be loud, his football did the speaking. Ronaldo needed the spotlight because he thrived in it. And that's fine, the sport needs both archetypes. But football fandom will always remember who moved them emotionally, not just statistically. Messi made rival fans applaud him. Ronaldo made rival fans fear him. Messi created art. Ronaldo created dominance. Two different brands of greatness entirely, but one feels more effortless, and that effortless quality is exactly what Zlatan was pointing at. So, after this whole storm, the real question isn't whether Zlatan was harsh. The real question is, was he wrong? And if you've watched football for the last 20 years, you already know the answer in your heart. Messi doesn't need to tell interviewers he's the best because the game itself says it every time he touches the ball. Ronaldo tells interviewers he's the best because he built a career on proving people wrong. Both paths are admirable, but one feels bigger than football, almost sacred. The debate will go on forever, of course. People will argue numbers, trophies, eras, leagues. But Zlatan exposed something deeper. He exposed the psychology behind the myth. He exposed how legends are built and how the world receives them. And even if Ronaldo fans won't admit it out loud, the line hurt because it rang true. If you're reading this, don't pretend you didn't feel that earthquake. Don't pretend you didn't immediately pick a side. And don't pretend you're not ready to argue in the comments. And trust me, you better do exactly that, because this kind of content keeps the fire burning on the channel. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because you already know I'm bringing more football truth bombs your way.